Good afternoon and welcome to On the Spot Motorsports Media. I'm your host, Mitchell Gunter, right along with Robert Simpson. And I'll tell you what, we got a great fella that's been working in the industry of drag racing for quite some time, Kirk Johnson, that's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes. But before we dive into all the questions and get some of your answers as well from Mr. Johnson, we have a few commercials. And so we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit. We'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Good afternoon, Kirk. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you'll be heading out west here pretty soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yep.
And I'll tell you what, it's been a great season so far. And I know you do a little bit of work with Tony Stewart Racing, and I know it's coming down to the nitty-gritty there in that funny car class with Matt Hagan and Austin Prock. They're going to be duking it out here the next couple of weekends and see who comes out on top as a champion.
Yep, we can still catch the Prock rocket. I mean, it's still mathematically possible, but Prock, you got to respect him, man. The guy is fast, and the kid, what an amazing race car driver. But on the other side, we got Matt Hagan, we got Stretch, and we got Phil Schuler, and the rest of the crew. I mean, we've done it before. We can do it again.
Yeah, he's definitely, especially with points and a half, going to be awarded in Pomona. Anything's possible. And, I mean, even if you look back at some of the other classes, it could come down pretty tight, even in the pro stock motorcycle ranks. You got Matt Smith still hanging in there with Gage Herrera and, of course, I can't think of his name right off the –
Braden?
Not Braden.
or Richard
Gaston.
So,
so that's going to be a pretty good battle to watch as well. Pro stock's pretty much, I think, summed up just by looking at the points.
Greg got it locked up?
Right now it's Dallas Glenn, and Dallas is in the driver's seat. I think he's 70 points ahead of Greg Anderson. So I mean, it can still come down to the wire with them, and that's what I tell everybody. All those little bonus points, they're very important when you get into the countdown. I mean, very important. So you want to be, the best number one qualifier. You want to, have the best qualifying runs to get those little bitty points, because sometimes you can win by 2 or 3 points. I mean, mathematically, it can come down to that way.
And that's really hurt us in the second half of the season is the qualifying position. We've been on some tracks where lane choice really mattered. And, boy, if you don't make it happen in qualifying, it really shows the effects later on when you need that lane choice. And Vegas, I don't think you'll see a ton of that. Pomona is a definite lane choice track. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Didn't realize that, but Kurt, I wanted to tell you, Mitchell and I, we appreciate you coming on, because I mean, to say you're busy is an understatement. I call you and you're out of town in another track and doing various things, and you have got a long history in this sport. Everything from the track prep to marketing to I don't know, it's endless. But how in the world did you get started doing what you do?
So we got enough time?
Go right ahead.
Hey, if you don't, we can always do a part 2 later on.
Yeah,
right.
basically, I was in the Marine Corps. Um, Got out of the Marine Corps in '92. Didn't really know what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I was a firefighter in the Marine Corps. Um and I tried. I thought that's what I wanted to do, so I tested in LA and Southern California. I was based out of Yuma, Arizona, and I couldn't get on. That was kind of during the time when um, there was a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I wasn't the right person.
Obstacles. A
Yeah,
lot
there
of
were
obstacles.
obstacles.
Obstacles. I got
The
you.
the way the point structure was set up, it wasn't the right place for me in California because of their laws.
I got you.
And I kind of lost interest in it. I went truck driving, hauled cars. Yeah, I had a CDL, so I went and hauled cars because of the money.
Right.
And I was 23, 24 years old, making 100 grand a year, yanking cars down the road. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And but I loved to race, and I raced before the Marine Corps. I couldn't afford to race during the Marine Corps, and I ended up going back to concrete. Uh, the company I was with sold in '98, and I'd been after them to sponsor my pro mod the whole time I worked for them. Got no, 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 no. And so when Ag Industries bought us, I presented it again, and it was kind of hilarious. I mean, you guys know about sponsorships. It's all done on basically one piece of paper now, a white page.
Right.
I gave this president from Ag Industries. He was an English guy. He was a great guy. 176-page brochure on my racing.
Jeez. Jeez.
It had charts and graphs and all kinds of stuff. It would have got thrown in the trash can by any professional company that would have looked at it. And this is a huge aggregate. I mean, this is the second largest aggregate company in the world.
Wow.
But they jumped on it. And the way that I got them to do it was in the late 90s, 2000 range. And you couldn't find a truck driver. We had all these trucks sitting. So I made all these charts and graphs showing how much money we were losing off the trucks sitting in the yard. Three companies had come together, two of them being union with 150 trucks each and about 9 concrete plants. Mm-hmm. And so when those companies merged, we lost 150 drivers that day. And this is kind of boring. I'll speed it up. But we lost 150 drivers. Jeez. And I came up with a way to hire drivers that using the race transport. We'd take this thing into kind of depressed areas of Denver metro and all up and down the Front Range. I made it very clear in the proposal that the race car was mine and its performance had very little effect on the sponsorship as long as we could hire truck drivers. And so the CEO, actually was president, not CEO, he agreed to do this for like 270 grand, I think it was. And that was quite a bit of money back then. Mm-hmm. But he also said I had to build the school and all the curriculum and everything. So I didn't care. It was my way to race. And so we came up with a school. I hired guys from other schools to help. And we created a concrete truck driving school. And then we started staffing concrete truck drivers. We'd pay them $9 an hour, send them to 8 weeks of school, teach them how to drive a truck. And I think we hired in the Denver area over 400 drivers.
Wow.
During the sponsorship. But then the whole thing moved to Boston. It moved to Minneapolis, moved all over the place. And at the same time, we were horrible at racing. We couldn't find our ass. And we blew. I mean, we ran a small block that had a 1471 on it. We were trying to be the fastest small block in the world, and we just blew shit up all the time. And we're at Bandamere a lot. Earlier when we were in the green room, we were talking about Larry Crisp. I mean, I blew up on that track so much. I'm sure Larry Crisp and the whole crew hated us. So anyhow, I did that for a while. The economy crashed in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and we didn't need truck drivers anymore. So long story short, I went back to just working in a concrete plant. I wasn't really happy with that. And they gave me the option for, if I remember right, it was a 10-year severance.
Jeez.
And I was making pretty good money. And I basically had no idea what I was going to do, but I said, write the check. And so now I'm unemployed. Got a little bit of money in my pocket. And I went to work in rodeo on the marketing side, selling sponsorships for a guy named Brian Wallace out of Denver. And I learned more from Brian about sponsorships than anybody else except maybe Bill Bader. It was a great experience. We worked in the Dodge program. The Dodge's association with PRCA was the longest running sponsorship ever. And it was incredibly lucrative. And it taught me how to show results tied to the type of marketing that you're doing at the event. It was one of the best things I ever did. I made like almost no money, but I learned a ton. While I was doing that, we started doing some work for tractor pulling, and I've always loved tractor pulling. So I put on my first tractor pull in Colorado in, I don't know, somewhere in the early 2000s. And typically that pull had been attendance wise, a couple thousand people and 6 or 7 vendors. We had $150,000 purse, 200 vendors, and way over 10,000 people there.
Jeez.
So
that's a pretty good turnout on a first event.
It's just a huge success, and that's when I learned that I like putting on events. And it's kind of one of those things that I didn't have anybody help me, except for Brian Wallace was very involved. We just said we're pretty sure we can do this. We're just 2 dumb guys went into it. We knew very little about it, but kind of killed it. It was a great experience. And so I started working with tractor pulling for quite a few years. We had a great relationship out of Indiana with the American Tractor Pullers Association, which is now Pro Pulling Association. Forrest Lucas bought it.
Right.
And so worked into that for a while. And then I met a guy named Mike Lewis. And I think I met him at SEMA or PRI. And we just started exchanging what all we did. And he had just left Indianapolis and went to Schumacher. And basically we traded cards, and he kind of said, if you're ever interested in coming over and working with us, call me. Well, about 9 months later, somewhere around there, maybe a year, he called me and he said, hey, can you do me a favor? Not looking for a job. I mean, this isn't really a job offer. Just could you run to Albuquerque, grab a truck that broke down and bring it to Las Vegas? And I wasn't doing anything. So I just jumped on a plane, ran out there, grabbed the truck, took it to Las Vegas. And long story short, my parents ended up moving me out of the house that I lived in Colorado, because I never came back. And
they packed your stuff and mailed it out for you.
Literally, they packed it. They put it in a storage unit. My mom, my dad, my sister, they cleared the house out. We got rid of the house, and I didn't come back for Colorado except to race for a couple of years. So I went to work for Schumacher in hospitality, of all things. I mean, that's the most unglamorous job there is. And but I had general racing knowledge. I got along with all the crew chiefs. I just got along with everybody, and I just played the game.
Right.
And I learned as much as I could.
That's a big marketing opportunity to be
always,
mingling with all the people coming in for hospitality and growing relationships with people along the way.
And we really boosted what hospitality looked like. I always felt that hospitality. Let me tell a real quick story. This is fun stuff. So when I first started doing the tractor pulling thing, the first place we went to, I believe, was Terre Haute,
Indiana.
No, Salem, Indiana.
Oh.
Was the first pull I went to. and they were talking about hospitality and all this. And I've been around IndyCar drag racing. I've been to hospitalities. Um, and this gentleman named, when I got to the track, named Bibbs met me, Bibbs, Mr. Bibbs, and he had on a pair of like engineer coveralls, the striped coveralls,
right,
with no shirt on, and and he was the hospitality man. And I just kind of went, wow, what did I get into?
You're like, oops.
and in their hospitality, which was beautiful, we had fried bologna, and that's, your reaction is exactly what I was like. We are not going to do it like this. And I made a huge mistake there. I turned that into big time corporate sponsorship or corporate hospitality. Mm-hmm. And it sailed down like an airplane crashing on fire. That demographic, they liked what Bibbs represented. And I learned a huge lesson off that. Don't try to change your surroundings. Make sure that, unless you know the change is what you need to do. Right. And so coming in, I was sure I knew what needed to be done. We needed to dress this up, for that demographic, that is not what they wanted. Right. And Mr. Bibbs, who was he passed away a while back, but one of the kindest, gentlest, greatest men I've ever met. He knew how to do their hospitality. He knew who their customer was, and he knew how to treat them. So when I get over to Schumacher, I did want to elevate it there, and we had such a great. And then the other that we really pushed on was bringing people into hospitality that we could move over to the teams, and I felt it was our job to mentor those guys. So as we might have 10 people over at hospitality, and maybe one a year would go over to a team or two, which I felt was a really good record. So we were kind of like the vetting area. If you wanted to be on a team, the requirement was have a CDL and work in hospitality. And I'd get all Marine Corps on them for, weeks on weeks.
Right.
And we'd find out who had the feathers to make it over on team. I'm sure we'll talk more about team life later on, but it's not so much, we're not looking for guys that can tune a clutch and that can put a cylinder head together. Right. We want somebody that can live with 7 other guys on the road for 23 races a year and work cohesively.
Yeah. You got to be able to fit in a
way.
You got
find that chemistry.
Yep. You're going to have a roommate. We got to find those people that fit into that family. We can teach them. Once we know we have that person, we can teach them whatever they need to know. And so the things that we're looking for are charisma, drive, and character, because those are the things you can't teach. You can't instill that. You got to find it. So we'd use hospitality as kind of a recruit center.
Right.
And it worked really well. We ended up building all of our own hospitality structures, all that kind of stuff. So we saved a ton of money there. And besides that, we had a great time. And, I got to, even though I was just hospitality, I got to be present when the run happened and standing on the starting line. When we win the championship, we had to set a record, win the race, and set speed and ET record to beat Doug Coletta. And we did it. And that's hanging on the wall back here. I don't have a lot of wall hanging stuff, but pretty proud of that one.
I would too.
And that's I don't know if that'll ever be done again. So kind of from there, I went to work for NHRA, and there again, bottom of the barrel. I was the guy down at the end setting up balloons, and when you see the cars come off the racetrack, I'd make sure they stood in the right spot, and that they had a Powerade in their hand, and their helmet was off, and they looked presentable. And if they were frustrated, I'd calm them down.
Right.
Sometimes I'd pump them up. But there again, we really worked on making the top end look good. Make it so that camera shot looks professional. And Glenn Cromwell was my boss back then. He was the VP of marketing. Mm-hmm. And he's president now, and I've got a ton of respect for him. I mean, that guy, he was a senior vice president. He'd come down and hang banners every morning, and and he didn't have to do that. He could easily have delegated that, but that was part of his way to stay in touch with his team. He's a great leader. Michigan football guy, and a lot of his leadership comes from football. He is a natural leader. So we did that for a while. One of the things I feel I was a big part of with NHRA back then was teamwork. When I got there, marketing and safety safari did not mix. They didn't do anything together. The sales team, safety safari, and marketing didn't really do anything. And pretty much each department was its own. And I think I was really instrumental in getting everybody to work together. So it wasn't just marketing's job. Safari would come and help. If Safari needed help, the marketing guys would go help them. And I think we helped kind of change the model to a lot closer to what it is today, where everybody does everything, and which is the way it should be, I believe.
Yeah. You took individual departments and helped make them all one. They say there's no I in team, and it takes every single one of these people to put on a great event for the spectators.
Yep, there's no I or me, and but that's also where I started learning track prep and how track prep worked, and it fascinated me. I was utterly fascinated with track prep, and I'm probably one of the only people that can ever say that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have not heard too many people actually say that. But
I mean, to watch them build these surfaces and then spill oil all over it and make it just as good as it was before, it just seemed like a great challenge. And I've always loved running equipment. I'm gifted in that standpoint that I'm pretty much getting any piece of equipment and be friends with it in a couple minutes. So I took an interest in the track prep side. I made friends over on the safari side. I actually hung out more with safari people than I did with marketing people. But I was over on the marketing side. So the job for manager at Indy Raceway Park, or Lucas Oil Raceway, came, well, back then it was O'Reilly.
Right.
That came available. I applied for it and I got it. And so that was kind of the next iteration on life, was running a racetrack, and I had no clue how to run a racetrack. I'd never done it before, but figured it out. I had great mentors there. Again, I had Mike Lewis, I had Glenn Cromwell, Lex Dudas.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, these guys, they were just incredible mentors. And I'm probably forgetting some people that I shouldn't. Frank Hawley helped a lot. Just lots of good input. Chad Head. One of the best stories there is we were in Brainerd when I got the job, the race before Indy. And Chad Head and Eddie Craywick, and Eddie used to be at Englishtown, and he's probably one of the most let's say Eddie Craywick. Back then he was probably one of the most accomplished track prep guys there was. Englishtown was always really well known for good track prep. And so I'd talk to Eddie a lot about it. But Chad Head and Eddie Craywick caught me before I left, and they said they knew I was heading to Indy, and they said that place needs to be stripped. Nobody has stripped that racetrack in years. So that's the first thing you should do, is strip it. And remember, we're going into the test. So we had Brainerd, I'm saying like 3 weeks off total. And then we had the Indy test, which used to be huge.
Right.
And then Indy being the next week. And remember, back then we'd get 60 pro stock cars, 40 pro stock trucks, 30 dragsters, and 30 funny cars.
Right.
And I might be a little bit hefty on that, but we had a lot of cars.
Right.
So I stripped the track, went in, and remember, we didn't have all these fancy tools that I make now.
Right.
We had hand scrapers and
torches and all the
torches,
stuff.
yeah. And so we got strong. But once we scraped it, we started scrubbing it. because I've always believed in this Larry Crisp thing. When you scrape a racetrack, you got to wash it because you've got all this ash on top of it. So I went and got the scrubber, and we put the solution in it, and we mixed the solution way too thick. And my God, it took the rubber right off. And I'm like, well, they said strip it. So I went and I found this closet this is a 2-piece kit, the soap that you used in the machine. My God, there were 2 closets full of this stuff. So we just kept mixing it basically 4 times the strength you're supposed to. And we made the track look like a sidewalk. Raleigh Miller and myself. And there's I probably shouldn't say it. I don't know if it's how you're going to have a big announcement from Raleigh Miller this week concerning Indy. It's just interesting.
All right. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So we stripped this thing, and I mean, we took every bit of rubber off it. Remember, we didn't have rotators back then. We had that big blue NHRA rotator with a small block Chevy in it. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I think so. It's been a long time.
It had 3 tires on it, towed behind a tractor. It kind of helped. It was better than nothing, but basically we had static drag.
Yeah.
So I remember Chad showing up. This is on like Thursday, and we were going to test on Tuesday. I don't know if you ever seen Chad get excited, but he starts rubbing his eyebrow. Chad's a wonderful person. He's one of my best friends, and he would laugh knowing I say that. But when he gets irritated, he kind of starts rubbing his eyebrow. And I just remember him looking at the track going, Kurt, we got to test race cars next Tuesday. How are we going to get rubber on this thing? And so we divided in the teams of 4, if I remember right. And we borrowed another tractor with a static drag on it. And we ran these tractors day and night, 24 hours a day. And just putting rubber down on the surface and putting some traction compound in. Long story short, that was the quickest test by over a tenth. We killed previous tests. And we learned something there, and I still use it to this day. I call it thin and tight. We used to not scrape the racetrack surfaces that much. And what we learned off of doing that was that if you have almost no rubber on the track, but you do have a layer of good saturated rubber, saturated with traction compound, you have less grease, less slip, and we found out the cars go faster. And so from there out, that's really started formulating how I prep a racetrack. And it's thin and tight. We take all the rubber off all the time. And so learned just a ton off of that.
Which now you got a whole lot better tools than just using elbow grease.
Yeah, and this also, I mean, down the road, this definitely affected me further on down the road because all of these tools we had to use. And, or you had to make, or you just had to figure it out because nobody had tools. I mean,
right.
David Price made the hand scrapers, and that was about it. A company called Manchester made the torch. That's right. David Price made a drag. Not very many people had one. Almost everybody made their own drags. Nobody had a rotator except for Larry Crisp.
Right.
And NHRA.
Right.
They were $50,000. You can't just go buy those.
Right.
So worked at Indy, put on some heads up racing that was pretty cool.
I'd say so.
I got well, I mean, a lot of stuff that just hadn't ever happened before. We created a series called Rage, which was huge. It really did well, a monthly series. I got to be friends with Jason Ruckert, who works for VP. Mm-hmm. And I learned a ton about track prep from Jason. And then just kind of worked into that community of track operators. I mean, where you exchange ideas and network with each other and how to make tracks better. Also got to travel a little bit. I'd go do side work at Las Vegas, Phoenix, stuff like that, just working on tracks, helping, basically being a mop or a shovel, whatever they needed on the racetrack. Mm-hmm. But I watch and learn a lot.
Yeah. Well, I've seen you plenty of times at Gainesville ahead of the Gator Nationals in January and February. Helping out there for the pro teams to come in and do some testing.
Absolutely. Kind of with the other, then I went to Norwalk, because we'll kind of come around to the track prep in a second here if we can. Mm-hmm. Went to work for Bill, and Bill, they always say you got 5 people, maybe less, that are true friends, and Bill's on that hand. Bill is a true friend. I could call him right now and he'd be here. I think he's one of the absolute best promoters ever, period.
I'd agree with that.
I think he's one of the most advanced people in drag racing, period. He's an innovator. Norwalk's probably one of the best properties there is. It was like going back to college, working for Bader. And we could spend hours on just what we did at Norwalk, the crazy stuff there. But I learned a ton at Norwalk. But when I went there, the plan was they were working, I don't know if you remember the HD NHRA acquisition. This was kind of part of that.
No, I don't remember that one.
It was, they were going to get bought. And this opportunity at Norwalk was kind of a ground level at that, to be involved with that. So it really piqued my interest. So basically went there. That deal ended up falling through. And Bader was paying me a lot of money to be a track manager. Mm-hmm. Kind of enough money that I knew someday unless something changed, probably wasn't going to last.
Right.
And so a couple years later, we had the conversation. Or 3 years, 4 years, I guess 4 years, time flies. And it was just basically end of the year, and Bill said, I can't afford to keep paying you this, and I knew that. And Total Venue Concepts was Bill's idea, and he said, this is what you need to be doing. And he actually had a white paper for me, which is kind of what the idea of Total Venue Concepts. And I couldn't even really fathom it. I'm like, so you think people will pay me to come show them how to prep a racetrack? Because I was pretty well known for a good racetrack by then.
Right.
And he said, absolutely. That's what we're missing in this, is training. And that's how TVC started, was just to go out and train other racetracks how to do it. Through there, I met a guy he owned Lions Raceway, and Brent Jones. Brent called me and he said, hey, you think you can come down here and help me get this racetrack going? And I told him, sure. So went down. That was in Lyons, Indiana, or really Vincennes. Mm-hmm. And I worked with him on that track for a while. And Brent owns a huge oil company, and and he actually runs the fab shop side of things, building the equipment. Mm-hmm. And I said, let's build a rotator. And so we did, and kind of nothing like Larry's rotator. I had my own ideas on. Rotators are just like race cars. Everything's about pinion angle and right. chassis set, chassis angle, and chassis stiffness. And so there were things that Larry builds a spectacular rotator. It's bulletproof. You could throw it off a building and it wouldn't break. But there are things that I like different. I wanted an open air structure that I could get my hands into and work. Larry's is very confined, and he does that for a reason. And I'm not, there is a reason for the chaos, right. But it's difficult to get your hands in. But that's how he creates the stiffness the machine has. So I thought we'd build one more like a race car, and using triangulation and an open frame, so I could get down into the machine.
Right.
And my God, it worked. And we did a few iterations of it. But so now we had a tractor and a rotator, and take that out on the road. And Brent, I didn't really have the money to buy a tractor yet. So Brent rented me a tractor, which was one of the coolest things anybody ever could have done. And so I'd just pay him rent on the equipment, and pretty soon we started building a trailer full of equipment. And honestly, Brent owned most of it, and I just paid him per job. Pretty soon we got a 53-foot trailer, and it's just full of equipment. And then people started wanting to buy this stuff, and Brent was able to make it for a while. And then we kind of surpassed what Brent could make. And I never thought we'd start selling that much equipment. I used a couple other fabricators in the area, and we'd make 20 to 30 drags at a time.
Wow.
And sell them in a month.
Jeez.
Because they work so damn well. That's just a flat drag.
Right.
I mean, to give you an idea, I'm sorry, I'm looking at another screen that's got numbers on it here, but so we've sold about 70 rotators, 100, I can't believe this, 112 static drags, 160 of the little zero-turn scrapers.
Oh, those jokers are bad.
Oh, the Zambonis.
I love those things.
There's zero turns that scrape rubber.
Right.
The three flames.
Yeah. I call it a Zamboni because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. What I call the Zamboni is a scrubber.
Oh, okay.
We sold 78 of those. It's just unbelievable the amount of equipment we sold. And
jeez.
I talk to my guys all the time. I'm like, this has got to collapse sometime. There's only so many racetracks.
Right.
But our equipment division is still just strong as can be. And we build almost all the stuff out of Louisville, Kentucky. And we got 2 fab shops down there that we use. I don't own any of the fab shops. I never wanted to. I source it all out. But I design all the stuff. I draw it up, and I just dream the stuff up, draw it up, and then we make it.
Well, I tell you what, Kurt, I remember when you brought the zero turn out to Gainesville, man, everybody wanted to get on that thing. You know, and I want to say you told them that they had to be careful with the blade because of it, concrete surface, because you can chip up that concrete where it has a seam put across there. But man, everybody wanted to get on that thing, and they said, man, it made life so much easier to just get on there and scrape and have someone come behind with a square shovel and pick up the rubber off the track.
Yeah, we I mean, to the point now that when we get a good crew out, we can scrape with 2 machines, 1 in each lane, and 2 guys helping each machine. We can scrape a 1/8 mile in a day, and I mean not a single turd laying on. It's clean as can be when we're done with it. There's no turds, no boogers, no nothing. You could almost drag it and race on it the way it is. They've really gotten good at doing it. When I was at Norwalk, to scrape the racetrack before NHRA came in, it took us 18 people, 4 propane bottles and torches, and 4 scrapers. But 18 people, 3 days of 10, 11 hours just busting your ass all day long in the heat. And so soon as I was in a position to build a scraper, it just kind of came to me one day. I have no idea how we came up with the scraper thing. I mean, we had water jets, laser cutters, all kinds of cool stuff. Where we actually started making the track scraper was we went and we grind concrete as well, polished concrete. It's one of our businesses. And I figured since I got all this concrete grinding stuff, we ought to figure out how to do a shop. So I flew all the guys into Indiana, and we went out to the shop, and I said, we're going to make this floor beautiful. And I thought it was going to take 4 days. We figured out how to do it, and we had the floor done in 2 days. So I'd already bought plane tickets, all that stuff for these guys. I didn't want to rebook everybody. And so we just the last 2 days, we just enjoyed each other. But one of the things is we had this old zero turn, and I don't drink. I've never been a drinker. I might have one here and there, but I got drunk that day. I drank a bunch of beer. And and we built this zero turn scraper. And there again, we have laser cutters and water jets, and none of it got used. You know, we're hand torching out pieces, and that machine was called Beta, and it's actually still being used in Nevada, a small track. But there is nothing straight on that whole machine because it was just cobbled together. But it was definitely a proof of concept.
That makes it the best one. Well, of course, Alpha. You know, if you had Alpha out there, you know, but yeah, I like that. Please continue.
No, that's and that's really, I don't think you people want to hear about all how we made machines and stuff like that. Just we make a lot of equipment, and I'm always trying to figure out what the next thing is. One of the next things right now is the torches on the zero turn are about to go away. We're going to do it with infrared. It's way safer.
Really?
And, yeah, and that should be out next year. We were really fighting with the bulbs, the infrared bulbs, and the vibration, and losing filaments. But now we're using more of an LED type light, but it still creates the same amount of heat. And so we're not going to have any fire anymore, which is big to me. The propane bottle will get replaced with a generator, or we're going to run a motor off the PTO on the zero turn and use it as a generator. That's a little bit more complicated than it sounds. So at least initially, it's probably going to have a generator, an AC generator sitting on the back. At some point, we will go to where it's integrated DC, because DC is smoother power to start with.
Right.
But right now, to make the lamps last, I got to use an inverter. So we're going to have a generator. But
I love the technology that, I mean, the thinking outside the box. Right. You know, because the first thing I thought is having a little pony engine on the back, you know, like some of the reefer trucks and stuff like that, to be able to handle what you need. Yeah, I like that. I mean, this is showing on how necessity is the mother of all invention, and you know, and you're doing a job, and how can we make it better, smoother, quicker, safer, and so and that's what you're working on. And the fact that your history starts, well, many different avenues, but the fact you worked in concrete for so long, okay, and then you fast forward to working on the surfaces of the track, so you're more familiar on what it needs and doesn't need.
Correct.
And Kurt, I mean, you're one of the best innovators. You might not think of that way, but you're one of the best innovators in the sport, coming up with all those different tools and keep on moving forward to even better equipment that makes the job easier and also provides a safer surface for people to compete on.
I try to be, not try. I am a humble person. A lot of this stuff's just luck, and a lot of it is the tenacity to say, I'm going to make this better. I can figure out how to do this. And sometimes it just takes some bullheadedness. But we've definitely left our mark on the sport, because I feel when we started building equipment, radial cars could go about 4 flat.
Right.
And through improving rotators and how we spray and the techniques of spraying and using, each one of these tools has a different job. Static drag does something that a rotator does not. Rotator does things that a static drag doesn't. And then Tyler Crossnow made a shirt a long time ago that was awesome. It said, "The mix is not the fix." And what that was after was, you can't fix this.
We like Tyler.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't fix this stuff with traction compound.
Right.
Traction compound is just one of the tools.
You can't just keep spraying it on top. If it's not working, don't keep spraying it on.
So now we're at the point now where I'm sure you've been out on radial tracks, but
oh geez, yes,
you almost can't walk on them. Mm-hmm. But we're changing direction on that right now. The tracks are getting less sticky, but we're going faster. and that's because of the way we use the rotator and the way we spray. When you look at these racetracks and you walk on them, I have a lot of people come out and go, I don't know what we're going to do on this thing. And I'm like, you're going to come hit it and go fast. And and sure enough, when they come out, we've just found that a rubber positive track is much faster than a pure glue track. And I mean, that's how believe it or not, and I don't know if you follow radial racing. I think radial racing is the pinnacle because you take the equation of slip out. When we're running a top fuel car or a pro stock car or whatever on a slick track, an NHRA track, there's wheel speed all the time. Mm-hmm. And by taking that variable out in radial racing, isn't that pretty? All that orange.
Yeah. Herbert's car is beautiful.
Yeah, just because it matches my tractor.
No, I see where you went with that. I gave you a softball.
And exactly. I believe that was actually at South Georgia Motorsports Park.
That was last week.
That's one of Duck's race. Yeah, Duck's race.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we take that. The reason I like radial racing is because it takes the variable of wheel slip out. Because if you get any wheel speed with a radial, for the most part, you spin.
Right.
And we're going in no time racing where they can run a little bit lighter. We're going low 50s on a 275, and which, you think about it, just 5 years ago, we couldn't go 4 flat on a 315.
Right.
Yeah, I guess it was a little more than 5. I guess it's good God, I'm old. It was 10 years ago.
Right. I know what you meant though.
And but the other side of it, by using these tools the way they should be, by scraping the track, by washing the track, by using the rotator when it should be used, using the static drag when it should be used, and the correct mixtures for spraying. For an example, at Streetcar Super Nationals in Vegas, we're going to do that week after, or 3 weeks from now. We used to use 22 to 24 drums of glue at that race. Now we're running 4 lanes. 2 of them are radial and 2 of them are slick. But last year, I think we used 13 drums.
Jeez.
And so a huge difference.
That's a significant difference
in 10 years. At Duck's race, I know we used to use 18 or 19, and I think we're down to around 11 or 10, somewhere in that range. And yet we're going faster.
And yeah, I mean, just by going to Duck's race, in the past, and also watching it on TV, watching the guys going out there to direct them into the beams, and they walk out of their shoes, their socks, and
first layer of skin.
Most of their skin, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually find a video. It's gross. It was Vegas. Girl was bringing a car into the beams, which I hate. I hate cars coming in the beams. That just slows shit down if you can't put your car in the beam. But she's standing out there doing the dance, trying to not get stuck. And she set both feet down for a second. Long story short, you should dig for that video. But she got stuck and she fell over sideways and it broke her ankles.
Oh.
And because, feet.
Yeah.
She fell sideways.
Oh.
So there's that much bite out there.
Yeah.
Man, I've lost shoes and stuff like that before, but thank goodness nothing like that.
We're at the point now where we have to, and that's part of I did part of this out of necessity, because when you're just spraying glue out there, the tire turns in the glue. Rubber is the bonding agent between the tire and the racetrack. Mm-hmm. Glue is just, God, I got to remember this. Glue facilitates the bond of the rubber to the tire.
Right.
And to the racetrack. But if you just run on glue alone, you can't really go fast, because glue is very flexible, whereas the rubber's not very flexible, and you can get that no tire speed, that zero spin. So we've just learned a lot, and a lot of it's off of mistakes. A lot of times when you're testing, we're testing. If we're at a test event, there's a lot of times I try stuff. I usually start on the far end of the track when I'm trying something totally new, or I have a new glue that I've helped somebody make.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start on the other end, and then work it back this direction.
Well, what do you do? Well, I understand that you start the other end to see. I'm assuming you're going to see how it applies, and then how, as the day goes on, you go out and check it and see, like, is it rolling up, peeling up,
And it's not as critical. Yeah, because
exactly.
Yep. And so then from there, I'll move it towards the starting line, but to the outside of the track.
I got you.
Now, long story short, I don't ever just, because for the most part, when we're there, we're being paid for results. Mm-hmm. So we can't just go out and wing it and say, I think this is going to work.
Right.
And so we have to try it on the outskirts. And then, so a lot of times, like if somebody pays us to come in and test, we might be over in the other lane testing how we apply to the track. We test just as much as race cars. And we found a lot that doesn't work.
Oh, wow. Now, you see, now that goes to the next step. Now, you have through your experience, you can pretty much, I'm assuming, walk up, even touch the track, and in your mind, you know what it may or may not need as far as adjusting with your crew. But as we see so many of the professionals now using different equipment to go up there, either the torque wrench style, the pull style, or I don't know the different names of them.
Sure.
But I mean, what is it that you basically look for? I mean, do you look for, gumminess under your foot, under your hand, or is it a color or something like that?
Nope. So the machines all show some form of grip, cohesion to the racetrack.
Right.
You got the green boxes, which are called kegs, K-E-G, and a guy named Karsten out of Sweden makes those. And that's basically just a screw jack that pulls a set of wheels that have a spur gear. So the gears run about 10% slower than the screw pulls them at. Mm-hmm. And then it just measures off a potentiometer how much power did it take to pull those tires, those wheels that distance. And it should do it the same every time. There's about 8 pounds of weight on the wheels. It should be the same all the time.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah. And whereas the twist meter, it's got a lot of interpretation to it.
Right.
I can make it say whatever I want it to say, and by how hard you yank on it.
Right.
If you do it the way that the gentleman that makes it is fantastic. He's up out of Chicago. He's just a brilliant mind. And if you follow his instructions, you'll get the same results every time. And there's a line you're supposed to run it to and pull either 7 or 15 degrees, which it shows on there, in a nice steady motion. And it'll give you good results. And a lot of guys jerk on it, and as long as they're the only one doing the test for their team, and he jerks it the same every time,
right,
get pretty good numbers off it. I don't like variables.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I use the keg more than anything, and then I have my own twist meters that are different heads. Everything's different on it.
Right.
What I'm typically trying to do, the best track guy out there ever is Lanny McGizzy.
Oh yeah.
Lanny's phenomenal. And he's a phenomenal track person. He's a phenomenal human. But there again, let's go back to Schumacher days. He worked at Schumacher. I really watched Lanny. So for 20 years, I've been around Lanny and seen his reports, heard everything he tells the crew chiefs, and saw how important he was. Lanny uses, you can't see it, but he takes his thumb and he pushes it across the track. And that's one of the biggest measurements he makes. Lanny's thumb should be encased in gold. The problem is it has Lanny interpretation. So as he pushes, his mind is saying it's a 3. All right. Mm-hmm. And he'll send that back to Proc. I got 3 or 3, and sometimes he uses pluses and minuses on the push. and push is really important because that is how greasy the track is. So what I try to do is, since I don't have Lanny's mind, I try to build machines that do Lanny's thumb test and give me a scientific number, give me a real number, that I don't have any interpretation on, because Lanny's done it so long he doesn't need interpretation. He knows what it is. Nobody else can do what Lanny does.
Right.
So you got to build a machine to do it, and that's what most of the test equipment that I build is, all to do something that Lanny does on his own. And
are you going to call it the thumb? You're going to have a tool called the thumb, and
I have
Lanny's name on.
I have the thumb.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Absolutely, I have the thumb.
Okay, well, ta-da!
Yeah, it's always very interesting watching him go out there and perform and write down everything on the papers and stuff. And a lot of people, they're like, "What is he doing?" And and I'll explain to him. I say he's trying to find out what they have to do with the clutch of their car compared to the way the track surfaces it is right there at the hit when they take off from the line. And I said, the man is a genius. I said, he's smart. I says, he doesn't wear all that crap to just wear it.
Yeah, that's so true.
There's a purpose for it.
and Lanny truly understands clutches too. I mean, they own the LNT clutches, him and his dad. And who probably one of the best finger clutches ever made. So I've got gobs of respect for Lanny. I love him. He's a great human. But he's also the bar. I mean, I'm trying to build tools that can do what Lanny can do,
right?
And that I can just hand to anybody. So that's what we try to do. Is we try working with Tony and those guys. They give me the freedom to kind of build whatever I want to build. And since I'm out there every week, I can try. We build tons of stuff that gets thrown away that weekend. And
now I'm going to put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But with Tony moving over and also racing for Elite in a partnership with Elite and Tony Stewart Racing, are you also going to help with that fuel team, or is that something that you want to not?
I'm being totally transparent, and I don't want to ruin your question. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I'll be totally honest. I didn't. I've been so busy, and we've got a lot of other stuff going on, just in life in general right now. Mm-hmm. I'm not even positive Tony's driving the car, and maybe they've announced that. I don't know. Inside the circles, I have not heard that. Okay. I know there's a possibility of him driving a car, from what I understood, and I don't want to talk out of line because maybe the deal's done and I just haven't heard.
Right.
But I thought it was up to funding. I thought they were trying to finalize some funding.
Right. Which makes sense.
Well, the good thing is, R&L Carriers, they did come over. They're going to sponsor the car. So they announced that probably a couple of days after Josh Hart announced that he was going John Force Racing, which I had to sit on for about 3-4 weeks. Robert even asked me, says, "Hey, is Josh going to quit racing?" I was like, "No, he's not going to quit racing." "Well, where is he going?" I said, "I know where he's going, but I can't tell you because he told me not to say anything."
Yeah, I'm glad we did this because I thought he was taking R&L with him.
No.
So that's good. Yeah. So I'm assuming we've got funding, and I'll probably do it for that car too.
Because we were wondering about that, but Mitchell, to his credit and his word, he gave his word he wouldn't say nothing, so he didn't.
That's how you build relationships with these drivers and these teams. Yep. If they'll go ahead and tell you and say, "Hey, we're probably going to announce it here, but please don't say nothing until that date," and so just look out for the announcement, and then you can make a post about it on your media page. Just building trust is a big thing behind the scenes of racing. And it's usually the silly season starts right there at PRI. Well, it started way before PRI at this time.
Not anymore. It's
started in August this year.
Yeah, I know it. I was getting ready to say it started early, but Kurt, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I've heard that I'm going to several other teams. People tell me all the time.
Oh, people telling. Oh, I got you. I got you. Informing you of this. I got.
Yeah.
It's like, I tell you, Kurt. For the laymen out there, us included, uh, generally speaking, how do you prep? In your case, how do you prep a track from like an NHRA track to, or I should say, like a divisional meet to a national event versus a radial, without giving away
Right.
your particular,
No.
you know.
So, first off, we have no secrets. I do seminars. I teach people how to do it the way I do it. I don't hide anything because there's no reason to. And it comes down to four things, no matter what. These are the four important: scrape it, wash it, spray it, and drag it. You will always have a good racetrack. And then repeat.
Okay.
So,
and I take it that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I scrape every night. I shouldn't say every, but damn near every night that we scrape out to at least 100 feet. We scrape between rounds. We wash the track a lot, and we spray and rotate. If you do those things, you'll always have a track. As far as from divisional to national to radial, there's pretty big changes. A divisional track, often budgetary wise, if let's say we're at a place where they have a rotator and a static drag and all that stuff, there really isn't much different. Stock, and you got to put considerably more glue down for the small tire classes. Mm-hmm. Most your .90 classes don't care. It doesn't much matter to them as long as there's traction there. Right. Really, they're more concerned about the second hit out there at
100 foot,
three quarter second to 2 seconds is way more important to them.
Yeah, when you come off the stop. Yeah.
Yep. So typically with a divisional type track, a lot more static drag, a lot more glue. And if they have a rotator, they'll probably rotate it. If it's a regional where they got alcohol, it's a lot more like a national. There's not much difference between that and a national event track. A lot of times you'll use the rotator heavy, not spray much before 60 feet. Like most of the time at a divisional race, the starting line gets sprayed once a day, and might hand spray where stock leaves, and hand spray while you're patching bald spots from the.
Okay, that answered my next question. You hand spray to fill in where it got stripped. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And obviously, you're not talking about if there was something that happened on the starting line and you had to clean up. You're not talking about that. That's a given. That's a given.
And then I don't use gold dust, and it depends on time. I shouldn't say I don't, because everything comes down to the clock. Mm-hmm. And there are times that I'll throw some gold dust down, spray it. I always drag it once. You'll never see me run a car on undrugged gold dust. I just won't do it. Because really only one, sometimes two cars get screwed out of that deal. But how do you like it when you're the one or the two car?
Right.
And you lose three numbers.
Oh yeah. I know exactly what you're saying when you say that. So
I think it's way more fair to stop in the middle of the round. If you got 64 cars in the round, stop at 32. If you got 128, stop at 64, or stop at 32, 64, and then one more time.
Right.
And just stop and
fix it.
Put the dust down. Put some traction compound on top of that, and then rub it. Drag it. And the next car out should go he should be able to run the number that's on his car.
Right. And it doesn't take y'all long to do that either.
No, that's about a 35-second rotation, maybe minute at the tops.
See, that right there is so helpful, because we've all been to events and we're like going, what exactly is is happening. What's going on. You don't really see any movement, no action, and you don't really know. Then you hear somebody say, well, they're scraping this or they're doing that, and you're like, I still don't see anything happen. If it's manual, it makes a lot of sense. It obviously takes time to do it versus the equipment.
And a lot of times I don't. We'll rubber patch it, which is where we take rubber from behind the line or sometimes in front of the line. It depends.
Right.
And we'll smear it into where those bald spots are, and then give it a rub with the rotator or the static drag, and that creates a much better patch.
Now, do you have to prep that spot before you smear it?
You really no.
Okay.
No, you put it straight onto the rubber because the traction compound's in the rubber.
Right.
And so when you put it down with the blade and the heat, it bonds with the concrete underneath.
Mad chemist, I like it.
And then when you come back across it, it smooths it all the way. It smooths it out, so it's nice and even.
In reality, we don't even have to drag it when we're done with it because we'll patch it. You'll see us out there doing the patch. I do it with a lawnmower a lot now. I've got a blade to patch with. But if we're doing it by hand, you'll see us out there kind of, a lot of people call it pancaking because you're smacking the rubber back down and it looks really uneven. And then you scrape that. And in reality, we don't need to drag it or nothing. We can call the next pair of cars up. But we're just not quite to the point where people are comfortable with that yet. Because, a lot of it's up here. But I'm telling you, we don't need to do anything to it. We could literally pull the cars out on that and they'd go just as fast.
Yeah. Well, that leads to the next question. Okay. And I know it varies. Okay. Well, actually, it's two-part question. One, what do you recommend for people if it's very cold out? Obviously, I take it you want to keep if possible, your tire temperature pretty close to tire temperature, and then vice versa.
You're talking more for the competitor now. Not
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, which is great because we don't talk enough about how track prep affects the competitor and how the competitor should look at track prep.
Right.
I talk all the time about how to prep a track, and we can do that in about 20 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's the same talk every time. But I'd much rather
scrape
talk
it,
about,
clean it,
there
spray it, drag it.
Do those four things, you'll have a good racetrack.
Yeah.
Take care of your equipment. Make sure your equipment's pretty. But as far as, let's go back to what the actual question was. So as a competitor, if I'm coming up to the line and I see bald spot, oh no, you were asking about tire temperatures. That's right.
Right. For example, if it's real cold out versus real hot out, what is you as a competitor, how should you approach it?
If it's cold out, and I'm just going to cold to hot, what I consider cold to hot. Cold is 40 degrees track temp to about 70. That's a cold track to me.
Okay.
A warm track is 70 to 110. A hot track's 110 to 130. And oh my God, what am I doing is 130 to 150.
Welcome to Florida.
Yeah. We deal with that sometimes.
142 degrees. I measured it last time in the summer. I was like, well, what am I doing here?
So those are my ranges. When I'm on a cold track, and here again, it depends a little bit on what you're doing. So whether it's a radial car or a small slick car or a big slick. But let's just say a good stock eliminator car. I think probably want your tires about 15 degrees above track temp. Somewhere around there. So if you could get your tire, if we're on a 40 degree track and we can get a true 80 degrees in the core of the tire, that would be fantastic. It's pretty hard to do. Tires don't hold temperature very well.
I was getting ready to say that too, but go ahead.
No, that's so when you're on the medium track, about even. When you're on a warm track and a hot track, you want on a warm track 5 degrees above track temp, 10 degrees somewhere tops. On a hot track, I don't want to burn out. I just want to clean the tires.
I was getting ready to say that. So it sounds like in some cases, if you can, I'm exaggerating when I say this, but a dry hop. or a dry hop or two, not off a trans brake, but a foot brake like a dry hop just to clean the tires. I don't know if that's enough. That's probably not enough.
Still put it in the water and just rotate them.
Yeah,
5 times just to get
the rocks off and
get the rocks off.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Take her up 6,500 once and let it back down, and
put it on the line,
and then on a very hot track, just as little as you can get away with,
right?
And still have your tires clean. And radials pretty much same. Radials need a little more heat than a slick tire. But even when you get into those hot conditions where like you're almost never going to run a radial above 125. I mean, it's
right.
Do it, but you got to back the car way down. And I don't care who the track prep guy is. I probably know some of the best track prep guys there are. I don't care who it is. You're going to back the car down. But when you're in those cold conditions, you want those tires good 25, 30 degrees above track. You want them hot.
As you can get them, within reason, of course.
And the other thing to remember when you're on radials, this is actually a great time to say it as a competitor. Never, ever burn out across the starting line. Never.
Right.
It destroys the racetrack.
Oh.
And now you can roll out, but you should chop the throttle 20 feet behind the line, or the really, really good guys tell you, and his health is failing right now. We need to pray for him. But Keith Berry used to be one of the best guys at doing his burnout and letting his tires chirp right at the bald spot. God, he was good at it. And then let the car roll out and back it up.
Yeah, that's actually a rule that they have in place at Gainesville, even during our ET bracket series. Yeah, you can do a burnout, but you better not go across the beams, or that you're done.
Yeah, that's door cars, and that's that kind of rule.
Yeah. With a radial, you definitely don't want them to, because it just rips the glue right off the surface.
Because a lot of door cars out there are using radial tires.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got some pretty quick cars on them.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're like I said, they don't do crazy burnouts. They don't do, they just wind it up, put it in high, and drive it out, and that's it.
Yeah.
And keep it simple. But okay, now going with a question I think you were going to start with. Let's say you're racing, you're pulling up in the water, and you're looking at the starting line yourself. Okay, as a driver, and obviously, and I know you don't have any opportunity to get out and make any changes. Okay, let's say you do see slick spots and stuff. I'm assuming that you would try to straddle it one way or the other. Is my assumption that you would do, because I mean, you're not going to improve it, correct?
Apparently not, because when I'm at a national event, I watch 60 guys go in the exact same spot, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Okay.
Let's see. This lane is 18 feet wide, and we're gonna maybe move the car 3 inches.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna move at least a tire.
Okay. That's my thinking too. That makes sense.
It depends a little bit on what the terrain is and what's around. And what I'm talking about right now is your slower class cars, your stock, super stock, your 90 cars.
Right.
You can move those things all over the place, and they're going to go down. What you really need to look at is where the fast cars have ran. Nothing preps a track like a car, and so it's really behooves you as a stock. I don't care if you got a V stock eliminator car. You should go up to the starting line when Pro Mod's running, when Top Sportsman's running, when Top Dragster's running, and see where they're running their cars. How far to the left are they running? How far to the right are they running? Because when you pull up in your V stock, you're not going to be able to see how far out they were. You can see where the rotators ran, but have cars actually ran there?
Right.
And because that's the limits of where you can move. If you go outside of where fast cars have been running, you're in dangerous ground. And there's a pretty good chance that you might knock the tires off out there because it might look good, but we've all seen women that look good that aren't good.
I saw that comment coming, and I'm like, just gotta let it go, just gotta let it
ride. and women, you've seen men that look good that aren't good, so it goes both directions.
You had to put that in there. I saw what you did. Okay, go. Okay. Right.
Don't be afraid to move your car around. If you can see that Top Alcohol, Pro Mod, and Top Sportsman have been out there, run out there. Gassers, or if you're in an event that's got gassers, those guys run all over the place, man.
Yeah, they do. They do.
You pretty much you have the whole track if you get to run after those guys.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to move your car. If you're in a situation, let's use St. Louis, where they're going to redo the surface this year, but there's some potholes in the right lane, and it's fresh on my mind. That's why I'm thinking St. Louis. Mm-hmm. But it kind of limits where you can move to, and so you got to take that into account too. You got to look at where your car is going to go down track. So many people I see are just they're spotlighted on the starting line where the rear tires are. And we're going that way down the racetrack. Let's look at everything we're going to run over,
right?
Because it's not just the starting line. Now, and I get it. Even if you're running, let's say you're running an A stock automatic,
right?
What is that? Probably 900 horsepower car, 800. I mean, they're
They run typically high nines on average. 3,500 pound car, high nines.
7 horsepower. But still, I mean, a lot of power.
Yeah, for what they are, yeah.
But for the most part, at 60 feet, that car's done.
Oh, yeah. They throw everything, kitchen sink, anchor, relatives, everything at the hit. You know, and that's where those cars accelerate.
So old Kevin Helms in his A car doesn't really have to worry about 200 feet. As long as it's good. It doesn't have to be stellar. It's going to go over it. You're not going to spin the tires. But I guarantee you, Kevin's looking at everything there is between where his rear tires leave and that 100 foot, where that car's digging and grabbing.
Right.
And when it comes to where he's going to line up. Other things that make a difference is, now we're talking a little bit faster car, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster. You need to watch the other cars, where you're going to line up. You need to watch what they're doing on the other end. A lot of tracks pull you in, pull you out, depending on where you're at. Dallas, right lane, pulls you in hard. And so you better be ready for it. And at the same time, I'm going to do everything I can not to go to the inside of the right lane, because now I know it's going to pull me inside.
It's going to make it worse.
So why do I want to make it worse by starting over there? A lot of times, point the car on a slower car, on a Top Sportsman, Top Dragster. Don't be afraid to point the car. On a top fuel car, on a dragster, you can point a dragster. On a funny car, you're playing with the devil.
Yeah,
and you better just get that car straight.
Back to the rodeo days, right? Yeah. It's like going, buddy.
And that short wheelbase will get you.
Yeah, and because what's going to happen is the car, if the crew chief lines it up crooked trying to avoid something, the driver's going to try to correct for that crookedness, and it's going to upset the car. So you just don't see very many people aiming a short car like that.
Makes sense.
Pro Mod, I'll aim it all day long. You watch somebody good out there, Jamie Miller or Petty. They're aiming those cars constantly, because let's say they know that the car is going to hop and the front end's going to get pushed to the left. Well, they just know it's going to happen, so they aim the car to the right until they get whatever's not right in the suspension fixed.
Right.
And and they will at some point, but everybody has problems. So there's times when your suspension's just not working right, and you're racing and got to figure it out. So you point the car.
And you're driving it, so you tell them get up on the wheel and get ready about this. It's going to make a move around here, so just be ready for it. And you see them start out there scissoring.
In the fuel cars, I don't even check the left track. I don't even look at it because that tire's not on the ground hardly, and so kind of don't care what's going on in the left wheel track. Because,
really?
Yeah, I mean, think about it, way a car twists.
Right.
The way a car moves, you're planting the right tire, lifting the left tire. And so I might have just given people a lot of advice right there. When you're checking traction, probably ought to check the right groove.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But still,
I see people checking the left.
I still wouldn't think even a top fuel car. I understand that they twist naturally, due to all the torque. But I would still think in my mind to look on the left groove also. I mean, I know you're not. I know you're not ignoring it, but you're spending more focus on the right versus the left.
Yeah, I really don't even look at it.
It's like nope.
I really don't, because that tire is not on the ground. It's not doing much. The right tire is doing almost all the work until the car's out a little ways.
Right. And you see, and that leads to the next thing as far as one of your responsibilities there with the team is obviously you're looking at the track. But I'm assuming, obviously, as we see crew members and crew chiefs walking the track before sessions, always walking the track. And I'm assuming that they're looking at areas where their car will get aggressive or where their timers might be set or, like you said, perhaps inherited bumps in the track, stuff like that is what I'm assuming that they're looking at.
Yeah, so when they go out and walk, they're feeling it. They're feeling the stick. All I'm doing is I'm giving them grip numbers. I'm giving them advice on what, and it's purely advice. You will never, ever see me tell a crew chief where to put a car.
Right.
I'll tell them where I think it's good. I'll tell them where I don't think it's good. I never, ever, you'll never see me point and say, put a car there. That's their decision. That's what they do. All we're there to do is to give them the information. But they're out feeling stick. I'll go out with a machine before the event that records where all the bumps are. Mm-hmm. And they might look at some of that. They might go, hey, I saw there was a big bump right here. Oh, hey, there's evidence right here. I can see where cars are, or where the static drag's leaving. They're looking at rubber coverage. How good is the rubber coverage? Where is it thin? And typically you will see the crew chief walk from the end of the track all the way up. The co-crew chief typically handles more the starting line. And so they start working together there. The co-crew chief probably works out to about 100 feet, maybe a little farther than that. But usually the crew chief will come up from the far end. And you watch any of the good ones, they're out there. And Alan Johnson, who I think is one of the best tuners ever.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I know he wears expensive shoes, and I joke around about his $4,000 track meters. I don't know that his shoes are that expensive, but he wears really nice shoes. And but he has guys that are giving him grip numbers too, but his shoes are telling him what he needs to know, and years of experience.
Yeah, you're right. And watching him work, especially when he was full time, especially with his brother and stuff like that, was just amazing to watch. The focus and always thinking, very innovative, and that's just, I know that's being an understatement, but I've always enjoyed listening and learning about that.
He's brilliant. And watch how he walks too. He does it when he's walking a track. He does it exactly the same every time.
Really?
And yeah, he's
methodical.
Step, plant, twist. Step, plant, twist.
And that's what drag racing is. You got to be approached the same way every single time wherever you go, no matter what your job is.
Yep.
I tell you, Kurt, we had a buddy of ours chime in, James Thompson, a buddy of ours. He's an announcer down here. He's a racer, a phenomenal racer, good guy, and he also helps out on several of the tracks. And he had a question. Right here he goes, in essence, and I think we talked about a little bit of that, but what are the basics on the grip meter machine, and what numbers are you looking for, radial versus national event prep? You know.
So.
And you talked about some of it with your machine, but
so. Like with the keg machine, you actually see lower numbers on a radial track because there is so much glue present.
So it slips on the glue.
Yeah, it works like lubricant.
Gotcha.
So I counteract it by I run my settings different in my machine. I run the machine faster when I'm on a radial track. But typically, and we're working in Newton numbers, which
okay.
And the reason I do that, I want the biggest number I can get for scale. And so typically on a good radial track, 2,900 is really good.
Okay.
On an NHRA track, 3,150 is really good.
Okay, so 29 to 31 is a ballpark range between the two.
Yes. And whereas on let's say 100 Dallas last week, we were 130, 135 tops, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. I was down in the 2,580, 2,600 range.
Oh, that's so slick. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was hot.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. Nothing against NHRA. NHRA does a great job. They truly build some of the most consistent tracks there are, but when it's hot, there ain't a lot you can do with it, and they're scraping every round like they should be.
Right.
They're doing it right.
It's the same thing if it's wet. They can't control it.
No, they can't. So we're looking for on an NHRA track. We're typically in the 2,500 to 3,150 range. Mm-hmm. And then when you get up in that 3,100, 3,150 range, you're playing with the devil again.
Really?
Because more than likely it's cold. And that track's hard. And
getting too tight.
Yep. It hits a point where the meters start showing it's absolutely phenomenal. Like you can pull 700 on a twist. But you're never going to go down it.
I got you.
There's a couple things there. I say I don't keep secrets, but there's a couple places there that there's stuff that you can look at and you can figure things out when it starts getting hard and how it gets hard and how that's going to affect your car.
Okay, you've got me thinking. Okay, you've got me thinking. I'm not gonna confront you, shall we say, here, but you've got me thinking about different things. But
hardness of the rubber is incredibly important.
That does make sense.
Very important.
And
because
go ahead.
No, just you'll find a point where you're at the top of the table, and you have diminishing returns after that, and you just shake the tires.
Yeah, I was going to say it goes the other way. And that's where it leads to, if somebody ever had the opportunity to build a track of their dreams, if you could control the temperature on the track at least somewhat. Like Bandimere had a cooling system, I think, on the starting line. Okay, yeah. But if you were able to do something like that, that would definitely help a track be more consistent year round.
Absolutely.
For events like that. But the expense of that would just be be through the roof.
Well, we need to race inside. That's what we need.
If you got a big enough exhaust fence and it can take care of the decibels, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to happen
eventually.
Well, I think it will too. Yeah. Big old fans at the end, on both ends, and on the roof. Yeah.
It's doable. Is what you're saying. But
I actually went in an old Ford plant up in Ohio. That it's still there. And it would make a great drag strip.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could definitely run inside that place.
I heard the old Rouge plant up in Michigan. Is it Michigan? It was
Rouge is in Michigan.
Yeah, it was suffice enough to easily hold a track. At least that's what I was told at one time.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah, it's How can people get a hold of you in Total Venue Concept? How can they get a hold of you and get involved with your classes and stuff?
K Johnson at Total Venue Concepts is probably the best way. Just shoot me an email. Again, it's K Johnson at Total Venue Concepts. We do a huge variety of things. We haven't even talked about grinding concrete. And I don't really even prep tracks anymore. I prep once or twice a year. My guys are as good, if not better, than I am at prepping a racetrack. I'm 57 years old. My knees don't work like they used to on a radial track. I basically I come up with ideas, make equipment, and my fascination and full forward is grinding concrete anymore and making concrete incredibly flat. Stuff like this. We the technology. This is wild west right here, because there is still tons of technology you're going to see come out here. And I'm not even doing it for the drag strips. The money is in other forms of warehousing where they need ultra super flat floors. And really, I'm using the drag strips as a training ground to build that equipment, because we need flat surfaces here too.
Right. That's interesting. I mean, that makes sense. I never thought about that, like for production lines and whatnot that needs laser straight equipment. Alignment on the floor. That totally makes sense. But you talked just briefly, prepping a track, completely scraping it. So let's say somebody hires you to come in and redo a track wherever it might be, okay, and starting afresh. And obviously, you start at the bare bones, going all the way down, scrape it clean, as you say. Okay, now. You go from there. I mean, are you going to scrape it? I mean, when I say scrape it, you going to grind it? You going to what you going to do?
So grinding and these are two different things.
Well,
if we're going to grind a track, it's a resurface of the track. If we're talking about that, we grind the thing with a profile grinder.
Yeah, I'm saying to take the bumps out is what I was basically doing with it.
So we use what's called a profile grinder, and it's about 30 feet long. It's got either a 36 or 48 inch head on it. That head has about 300 on a 36 inch, about 350 saw blades, just like on a concrete saw. They're 14 inches in diameter, and they've got about a 2 millimeter spacer in between each blade. And so when you see the way it cuts, it leaves corduroy on the racetrack. Right. It looks like corduroy.
Yep.
But the way the machine works, it's so simple but ingenious. You've got the front tire 30 feet out, and then the rear tires that it rides on are 20 inches from the fulcrum point, from the center of the head.
Okay.
And so the blades are 18 inches. The rear wheels sit about 20 inches from that axle. And so as the front end, your rear focal point's extremely close. So your front wheel can ride up and down on bumps about an inch, and your head's only going to move about maybe a quarter inch.
Yep.
Maybe. Usually it's less than that. And so the way it used to be done is they just grind it, and they just hog into it and go for it.
Right.
But what was really happening was that front wheel was riding up and down bumps, and you're still riding with those bumps quite a bit.
Right.
So what we started doing from there, we still didn't have electronics on. Instead of cutting the track once, we'd cut it twice to 3 times, and we'd come in and we'd cut it really easy once. Because if you think about it, that front wheel, after we cut cut those high spots out, that front wheel's doing a lot less of this.
Right.
So now we're cutting a lot flatter. So the second cut's much flatter. The third cut is very, very flat. But now we're in the realm of I'm sure you've heard of LiDAR.
Yeah.
So now we can fly a drone over, LiDAR the track, build a model out of the LiDAR, a 3D model, and have electronics that actually move the head on the grinder. So we can build a model then we can build a model of what we want to grind to quickly, easy, and we can grind to that model.
Jeez.
And that's just flat bitching. That's
I like
very,
it.
very cool.
That is really cool.
And this it's a much smaller machine than the big old 30-foot thing. This is, imagine that, something I can fit in a warehouse in between the aisles. And because that's really where that's where the money is that's what supports this other stuff is grinding inside of warehouses and where we need ultra super flat. But the my spec for when I'm building a racetrack or when I'm retrofitting a racetrack is an 1/8 inch up and down over 50 feet. And so it's an incredibly tight spec.
Right.
And I have contractors all the time tell me, oh, I can hit that. I haven't found one that can do it yet.
Oh, to your spec?
No, I haven't found anybody that can pour to it.
Oh, pour. Okay, pour. I thought you were talking about grind.
No, that's what we end up doing.
Outside of what you do. Okay.
Yep. So really, I don't even go after a flat track anymore. When I vet the contractor, I want good, solid, fundamental concrete.
Right.
And that's pretty flat. We'll make it flat.
Yeah.
And
get you close, right?
Yep. People, we got laser screeds. I haven't. Outdoor concrete's impossible to make flat. I'm going to say it is impossible, and I hope somebody goes, and proves me wrong.
Right.
But
call you up with the results, right?
I'll pay them well if they can do
it. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard right here. Challenge. Pork. Now. Okay. So going along with that,
there's
challenge, how big?
There's a performance clause in there. Now the challenge is pretty big. Several $100,000.
No. I didn't mean that. I'm referring to area. How big of an area for the challenge? If you challenge somebody to pour within an 1/8 inch, give them a quarter mile.
For a quarter mile.
Okay. I was saying that or warehouse or something.
Hit the spec in a quarter mile, and we're 1/8 inch over 50 all the way down. And so the challenge is I'll pay you really, really well if you can do it. If you can't do it, that's part of the performance clause. And I'm going to grind it, and you're going to pay me to grind it because you didn't hit the spec.
I like that. I like those challenges. You either accept it or you don't. That's how. I mean, I like it. I believe in performance clauses. That leaves everybody honest.
Everybody's a track, and every track should have a performance clause. And whenever they build the track, and I joke around a lot, but that is, and I will give you a boilerplate if somebody's watching and they're thinking about rebuilding their track. I'll give it to you for free. You got to have a performance clause.
I definitely want to see that just because I can learn something from anybody. And that is definitely something to learn right there. Well, where are you going to next, Kurt?
So this week, go to Vegas tomorrow for NHRA Nationals with Stuart and Leah. And then we're testing on Monday. I think most of the fuel cars are testing in Vegas. And then Monday night, we'll fly to Bradenton, and we're going to grind Bradenton Tuesday through Friday.
Is that preparations for the Winter Series coming up?
Yeah, they did some fixes on the track, some patches that have some bumps in them. They're just trying to get them out before the World Series, or not the World Series, but the whole series.
Yeah. Right.
I tell you, that's a neat series, Drag Illustrated and stuff.
Working
together with West Buck, just a great thing, giving people still a place to race when other tracks are closed up for the winter. And I tell you what, it's some really good money too. I mean, it's not chump change by no means.
No, they're racing for big money, and I mean, you're going to have the fastest pro mods in the country there. I mean, think about that. We went. What did he run? 38 the other day. I think he went.
Yeah. I think
JT?
it was. Yeah,
JT,
38. Yeah,
JT.
38. Yeah.
Carl Stevens. I'll throw a prediction out there. Well, somebody's going to go 300 this year.
In a door
It's
car.
either in a door car. It's either going to be a World Cup or it'll be in Bradenton.
Okay. Now Taylor was doing that. He was on a big tire. He said he next thing he was going to do is put a 315 on it and come reset whatever the record is right now on a 315. I don't know what it is.
Will.
I don't doubt it. I mean, that was
47, I think.
Is it a 47?
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking a 42, 45 or something.
The man can drive now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And Stevens makes power, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, what was it? 234? Is that what he went? Well, on the 38 run, something like that.
Was it?
Or maybe it was 243.
I mean, it wasn't over 250. I know that.
Yeah, it wasn't over that, but
which also tells you there's a lot more on the table.
Yeah.
And I mean, when they're running that low number on the back end, there was more on the table. They clicked it early.
Yeah, because I can't remember what Moyer ran last year.
277.
No. When he was out testing and went a 518 or a 520 something last year. In Bradenton. But it was in testing. It wasn't during an event, and that's what caused the internet just to melt. First one to the 4, like you said, first one to 300, and on and on and on and on. So okay.
I think they'll go 300. I really do.
Okay. James and Derek both said 240. He went 240 in the 8th.
240.
Okay, so I was off, guys. Thank you for correcting me. But I was still just mind numbing. Having watched the run, I'm like going, that's just stupid. And that's 240 in the 8th, and that's just 40. Exactly, yeah.
You know what was really funny is that people, when people like us started reporting it, how fast he went, they're like, there ain't no way. There's no way. And then people started posting the video in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like going,
there is way.
Yeah.
So
I think somebody will leg it out quarter mile. I think it'll be a World Cup. It all depends on the air. Mm-hmm. Wherever the air is, somebody's going to go quarter mile and run one of these things 300.
And I tell you, right now they're talking about a lot of people use the almanac, farmers and everything, and they're saying that it's very possible that we are going to have a pretty cool winter for Florida. So as long as it doesn't get too crazy down in Bradenton, those numbers are going to be outrageous.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to see Derek on there.
Oh yeah, yeah. we like Derek and James are two of the two buddy of ours, but they are some of the best announcers out there. Both of them. Well,
I love being around Derek. I don't know James very well, but Derek, I think the world of him.
Absolutely. Right. Well, if you met James, you would think the same thing. So, yeah, just great guys. But I tell you what, it's just been absolutely a pleasure talking to you, Kurt, and just learning so much. And I know to you, it's like, nah.
We do have a cool thing happening. I partnered with VP Racing.
Yeah.
And we are going to start a weekly track prep series. Just a 10, 15-minute video. It'll be on the same day every week so that we build repetition out of it. And it's just going to be 15 minutes on track prep. And whether it be prepping the track or how to use a piece of equipment, how to clean equipment, everything you need to know about track prep.
And you're totally right. I mean, one of the most important things with your equipment is how to maintain it, keep maintenance up on it.
Absolutely. A lot of times I go to some of these tracks and I look at how filthy their equipment is, and you don't want to touch this stuff. I mean,
oh yeah.
So, and the static drags, especially, if you don't keep them clean, they don't work. They got fingers in them. They got to move to the surface of the track, and if there's traction compound all over those fingers, they don't move, and it doesn't work.
Makes sense.
So fix it.
Well, where can people see these videos when you when you get them?
They'll be on both Facebook and Instagram. They'll be on VP Racing's site, and then I'll share them as well. To both my TVC site and my personal site.
Well, if you have no objections to it, once they start airing, if you don't mind, we'll grab them and share them on our Facebook page.
And I'm not a great social media person, but I know that I believe they're going to be this clip-free sound, right? Like where you can get the clips down in the comments somehow and use it.
Right. Yes. I know. I believe I know what you're talking about. Be able to clip it out of the video, and take something that you are needing or want to repeat or whatnot.
And the permission's there to take it.
Okay.
I guess that's the other part.
We see, but that's great. So we definitely look forward to that. Are you planning on going to, if your schedule allows, to like SEMA or PRI this year?
I don't do SEMA. Our booth will be in the same place at PRI that we've been at for a long time. We're kind of catty corner to the NHRA booth next to the TOPS room, the track operator promoters seminar, TOPS.
It took a second to get it out.
Yeah.
Like going, okay. Okay.
Well, we'll definitely come by and see you.
Yeah, dude.
Absolutely. And you're going to total venue, right? Or is it VP? To PRI. Are you going
total venue?
Total venue. Okay, I didn't know if you're doing that or going as a VP rep. That's what I was.
And we usually have a bunch of our equipment there. This year, we're not really sure. We're kind of thinking about bringing a tractor this year. Okay. Never brought a tractor before.
So. It'll fit.
It will.
You just don't look down when you start coming in over the concrete and over the stuff like it. Just don't look down and like going, "What are you guys doing?" You know what I mean? We can fix this.
We're gonna have a tractor next year, and I'm totally serious. I've said this it should be next year. I've said this last couple of years. I've just never finished it. But an old pulling type tractor from one of the lower classes that still has hydraulics.
Right.
It's a hot farm tractor. I'm going to rotate at Night Under Fire one of these years, wheels up all the way down. And, it's easy to do. Yeah, you'll have to watch it.
Okay.
We'll love to see it.
Because I remember seeing the tractor that was a wheel stander several years back. You know what I mean? Is that what it was? Is that what it was called? Okay. And I got such a kick out of that one, man. That one was really, really fun to watch. So I can see you doing that now that you mention it.
It's boring. Nobody wants to see a tractor going up and down. So let's make it fun. Let's blow some smoke and have the tractor kind of going a little bit fast, and we'll still do the job. I mean, the rotator's still getting planted hard. So
I love it.
I like your thinking. I really do. I really like your thinking, Kurt. But Kurt, again, from Mitchell and I here at On the Spot Motorsports Media, we want to thank you very much for coming on tonight and sharing just a little bit of time with us on your amazing career. And also, well, it is. But I also wanted to tell you thank you for your service. Yes. We appreciate everything that you and your family have done for us in this country. I wanted to say thank you. And also, like I said, we want to wish you all the best. And we're going to look forward to these videos. And I'm going to look forward to talking to you up at Indy at the PRI.
Be awesome. Come by, and if you guys are out at Vegas, or if anybody's out of Vegas, swing over. I'm at Tony Stewart. Come over, say hi. I'll be down at Gainesville a lot this year, so I'm sure I'll see you down there. And then I think we start testing February 10th this year, something like that, February 4th.
Yeah. And I tell you, I always appreciate the teams allow me, which I go to the teams first and say, hey, I like to take some photos and write some articles, and I always tell them, don't worry, I won't show the boards. And they're like,
we don't care.
We're good.
Nobody cares. They really don't care if you show the boards.
Yeah, but all you need is that one person, right?
Yeah.
So we got to be careful, not one person.
Well, I'm excited because, I think we're adding some cars this year. I think drag racing's in a tight spot right now, but I believe we're truly back in the glory days. We may not have a ton of cars, but we've got fans.
Yep.
And
the fans are getting younger too, especially over the past 2 years. I've noticed that younger fans or parents are bringing their kids out more often to it, and And we need that. We need those young kids to gravitate toward drag racing and grab a hold of it and love it. And maybe one day we might see them out there on that track.
Yeah, we need to all take it upon. I mean, we lost the trade schools, but we need to take it upon ourselves that when you are in the presence of a trade school or you have access to a trade school, we got to get these kids out here.
Right. Agree.
Those are the kids. I'm not, don't, as a group, don't take this wrong, but we're raising lawyers, we're raising attorneys, doctors, a lot of jobs that AI is going to take.
Right. I agree. So we need people to work with these.
We've got to build welders. We've got to build plumbers.
Yep.
We've got to get back into that because this machine right here, is
no, it's good.
is going to take all of those high-end degree jobs. So
you better believe it.
Let's get these trade schools going.
Yeah, Mike Rose said it the best, and I just totally enjoyed watching Mike. And he's right. He's absolutely right. And I tell everybody that, especially younger people, when they're asking me, and I was like going, if you don't know what you want to do as far as studies, learn a trade. Absolutely. Learn a trade. And then, I got some other encouragement for them on whatever it might be at the time. But, I said, they'll never be able to take that away from you. Yep. And I said, like you say, every one of those lawyers and doctors needs somebody to fix the plumbing, somebody to fix, the drains, somebody to fix electrical work, somebody to do the siding, somebody to do a trade. Not everybody's able to do that.
So. Right. Like me, I tell you, I work in court administration, but I'm an electrician by trade.
Right.
So if something ever happens, I can go back to work.
You can still be a Sparky.
That's it.
Yeah.
No,
You're right. I just haven't heard anybody call it that recently, like this week. But you're absolutely right. And go from there. But
you just got to get these kids out.
Agreed. And that's where we tell everybody. Also, we encourage everybody to get involved. Go to your local track. Support your local track, whatever it might be, whatever venue you like. Tractor pulling, dirt track, drag racing, whatever. Go to it. Support it. Be a fan.
Get a job there.
Get a job there. Volunteer.
And as a youth that might be watching this and wants to go racing, and I don't care, you mentioned tractor pull, I don't care what it is, sprint cars, tractor pull, NASCAR, or drag racing, go get a CDL. That's
true.
That is the number one thing to go get a job in motorsports. Get a CDL.
Yep.
And
very well put.
And you at least have 5 steps on the next guy.
So. I remember when I was in one of my summers, I would go work every summer, high school. Everybody did that. I remember I got a job as a porter. I was walking up and down putting applications in, the usual stuff that I did. I got a job one day because the guy's like, can you pass a drug test? And I was like, yeah, okay, no problem. And he's like, when? I was like, I can go now. Let me drink water. And, I've been walking all day. And do you have a valid driver's license? I gave it to him, and he checked it. And he just smiled, and he says, you're kidding. And I thought he was just messing with me, busting my chops. He says, we've had, at the time, it was like 30-something or 40-something applicants, that has come in, and they've had one or the other, but not both. And he goes, where did you hear from us? I said, I was literally walking down where all the dealerships were at, and I put an application in everywhere. I said, I'm parked up about 3 blocks north of here in the parking lot, and I got out and I just walked and filled out applications. Obviously, I'm showing my age, but nevertheless, I got hired on the spot because of that. And he goes, can you go take the test right now? I said, yeah, let me walk back to my car, or you give me a lift there. And I said, just give me the address, I'll go right now. And he couldn't believe it, but that's how I got one of my summer jobs, because I passed both. So we encourage everybody to get your CDL, but pass both, for that. But anyway, we can go on and on and on about that, but we completely are in agreement with you, Kurt, 100%. But we encourage everybody.
Kirk, again, thank you so much. I know we talked several times at the track at Gainesville and up in Indianapolis and everything, and we were glad to have you on. And I think it's very important for people to know what your job is like, getting the tracks ready for people to compete. And I really appreciate what you do for our sport.
Well, thanks for having us on. I couldn't do this without my team. My team is what makes it happen. I'm just a piece of that puzzle, but got a great group of guys around me and gals.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So thanks for having me on, and
thank you so much, Kurt. We appreciate it. We encourage everybody to go to Total Venue Concepts, and if you need any kind of equipment, look them up. If you need concrete ground for anything, look them up. If you want to pick his brain on how to prep a track,
or if you want a really bitchin' shop floor.
There you go. There you go. I like hearing that. I like hearing that. One day I'm going to have a dream shop. It's just not there. It's not today. That's all, but it's still working there. But once again, Mr. Johnson, I hope you have a wonderful night for Mitchell and I, buddy. And I hope you take care.
You guys take care.
All right, take care.
All right.
Have a good night, sir.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back as me and Robert, we're going to shut it down.
Yes, we are.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
Well, one thing I want to do, I want to thank everyone who joined the show tonight and listen to Kurt talk about track prep. Like I said, it's very important to all of us that race on these surfaces. And I tell you what a great story of where he came from and where he's at today. It was really great to hear that from Kurt. And I tell you, he's a super nice guy. Always great to talk to when you see him out at the track. And I tell you, we're looking forward to bumping into him up there at PRI. And hopefully he does have one of those tractors on display, and maybe we can shoot a little video of it and talk about it a little bit right there on the floor. But I tell you what, this month has been a very busy month for On the Spot Motorsports Media, from covering the NHRA Summit Racing ET Bracket Series finals. Right. And we had Night of Fire just this past weekend. I even done good myself, except for right there in the quarterfinals where I go triple zip and I break out at the other end. But
in your defense, you were on the brakes.
I was on the brakes.
Okay. In your defense, you were on the brakes.
No, I was on the brakes. But okay. I tell you what, it was still a great time. Great time seeing the jet cars out there and perform. And I want to try to get with track manager Jody Kennedy and see if we can help in any way. If we have to go take flyers out to the University of Florida and paste them everywhere and really fill those stands up, because it is a really great opportunity for people to come out, figure out the sport. I want to say, thank you for Homer up in announcing booth. He was doing a great job explaining bracket racing to the spectators that were out there, because I knew there were probably quite a few did not understand why one car left before the other. And he done a really great thing for explaining that. And I tell you what, I think it's going to get bigger and better each year. And I just want to thank Jody Kennedy for her hard work, her staff's hard work, for making these things happen, and for this whole entire year. And of course, continue letting us live stream the bracket races out there. We have another one coming up. That's Rob Reynolds, Fall Brawl at Gainesville. Yep. I tell you what, I think there may be a couple of spots left. I'm not for sure, but some really great opportunities to make some money if you're a bracket racer at this event. So if you're not racing, come out and sit in the stands and support it. You won't be disappointed. I promise you. Will not be disappointed.
Hey, don't forget about the Mini Million. The Mini Million's coming to Gainesville.
be coming up shortly after that. I want to say, what is it, a week? I think a week or 2 weeks
think so.
after.
I think it's a
But
week.
yeah, we'll get all those flyers posted up on our Facebook page to get that information out there. And of course, we still got one more podcast this week. We have Chris King joining us that runs Funny Car. So we're really looking forward to talking to him and talk about this past year, this season, and what's on the horizon for him next season.
Mm-hmm.
How many races he's going to be able to attend. And I tell you, it's going to be really great. So I hope y'all join us.
Absolutely, and I want to tell everybody out there, thank you very much for everybody's support on following Mitchell and I on On the Spot Motorsports Media on both Facebook, and also our YouTube page is gradually growing. And we ask you that if you haven't subscribed over there, to go over there and subscribe. It's working gradually. The algorithm, we're still trying to figure that out, but nevertheless, every little bit helps. Also follow us on Instagram. And we've also, all these interviews we put on Spotify within a couple days. So you can go over there and listen to all the interviews that we've done in the past couple years. Out in the garage working, whatever, you just want to let it play, whatever. But also wanted to tell James and Derek, thank you all for chiming in and helping us out with the information. And we appreciate what you guys do for the sport. Between the podcasts that both y'all do, and between the track announcing that both y'all do, we appreciate it. Y'all do,
and all the writing that Derek does for Sick the Mag. I mean, just some really great writing, keeping up. They just had Sick Smokies, and you know who competed in Sick Smokies, right?
No, who?
Scott Wildgust.
Oh,
yes,
oh, okay.
Yes. Come down from Canada and participated in it. Just really cool for him, pro mod racer. And
did his daughter come?
I don't think his daughter came. I think it was just him and his wife that did it. So I think that was really, really great. And hopefully maybe we'll get to see Scott Wildgust down in Bradenton running a pro mod. So I don't know what's going on with that, but really looking forward to it. Scott's a great racer.
Yeah, Smokey's Garage. That's right, Derek. I think he had is it a twin turbo Challenger he had or something like that? I don't remember. He something. Oh, it's tip of the brain's falling off, I might add. But now that you mention it, yeah, I think I did see an interview that the Sick the Mag was doing during that event, and spoke to him a little bit there in the pits. So that's great. That's great to see him.
Derek, since you're still on here, you know who was driving the other car for Smokey's Garage? Well, I don't mean to put you on the spot like that. No pun intended.
Yeah, actually you did. It was just a little bit. Really? 48 Pontiac Torpedo. Oh, wow. I got to look that one up because that's a cool car in the first place. So I got it. Okay. But good. I was glad to hear that they got involved, and because they were talking about that before, so that's really cool that they came down and that's an event I would love to do. Six Smokies, I absolutely would love to do that one. As a fan or anything.
Yeah, and I'm hoping his daughter gets some really good news, and maybe she's able to come back next season and race a little bit in the NHRA Pro Stock class, or maybe they have something else that's coming up, and we'll hopefully bump into them at PRI.
I hope so. We look forward to it. But like I said, everybody, we thank you very much for. Like I said, supporting Mitchell and I like you have. Please continue to give us suggestions and people that you would recommend or you would suggest that we would talk to and reach out to interview, because we're listening and we've reached out to several others, and we're still waiting to get some others scheduled, some people that would like to come on. We're still working through our schedules, and both Mitchell and I are extremely busy, like everybody, especially coming up this time of the year. But,
right.
It's going to get really crazy. But we thank you so much for everything. But like I said, follow us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. We really need that. We need that to grow. And also Instagram and and Spotify. We do appreciate everything. And also thank you to Redline Synthetic Oils.
Yes. And Scorpion Racing Products.
And Scorpion Racing Products. We look forward to working with y'all again next year. And we look forward to gaining even more partners. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, and actually pay attention to the page either tonight or into tomorrow morning. I'm going to post the booth number for Redline Synthetic Oils and all the drivers that they're going to have there that will be signing autographs and what times that they will be at the at the Redline Synthetic Oils booth. So again, thank y'all, and don't forget this Thursday night, Chris King, and also this weekend, ProMod will finish up their season and will be crowning a champion. So, and it is a tight battle, especially first through fourth. Please go and read the article. I put an article out this morning about it, and it's doggy dog. I'll tell you that.
Yep, that's the best kind. Yeah. All right, everybody. We hope you all have a wonderful night.